Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Remote Producer Show. Today we're tackling how you can leverage different live stream formats and segments of all kinds to be a super producer. Welcome to the show. Comment if you're hanging here with us today. Would love to see who's in the mix. We're going to be going over all the live stream formats that you can consider, and then all of the segments you can use to build a professional show. And for those of you that are hesitant of the live world because of the live elements, we have some options for you that don't even require you to literally be live like this, but you can still leverage live streaming as a tool for your brand, your business, or anything you need to share with the world. So stick around all the way to the end. Let me see who's jumping in here in the chat. Please do hop in the comments if you're hanging here today. Would love to see who's in the mix, but we are about to get started on our lesson of live stream formats and segments. We're going to tap into both sides of this and combine them into show building strategies. So stick around and feel free to jump in the comments throughout the entire show. So welcome to the party. We are about to get started. Great to see y'all rocking and rolling. Let's jump into today's presentation, where we're gonna teach you the best ways, the best formats, and the best segments that you can use to build pro productions. All of this is gonna be through Restream. This is actually a super powerful tool that you can use in so many creative ways. So what we're going to be tapping into today is these three pieces. Number one, the streaming formats that you can consider using this technology. Number two, the show segments that you can use to build productions. And then finally, how you can combine those two pieces to build templates for your shows. So this is gonna work as a solo streamer or as a producer. Either context, this will work. So thank you for everybody that's jumping in here. We'll just keep this as concise as possible here. And hopefully we can continue this conversation week after week as we become super producers. So thank you to everybody jumping in here. I see the Twitch gang rocking and rolling, LinkedIn, YouTube. Thank you all so much. If you are curious to start this journey, all of this is being used and done on Restream. So jump in the description. There's a link to get started. But let's go ahead and talk about live stream formats. A lot of people anticipate or think that there's only one version of streaming, and I want to break that idea and get into a more effective and more efficient way to think of streaming in general. And here's what I want you to do. Think of streaming as simply the medium, and your goal is to leverage technology to deliver media. All you have to do is deliver some type of message to someone else in the world. And streaming is the connecting dots to do exactly that. So what the mindset you need to be in is, how can you customize the experience to utilize the benefits of each format? So there's not a one size fits all type of thing. I guarantee you that one of these formats is going to resonate with you more than the others. So let's look at those formats, and I want you to keep in mind what you think is going to be the most productive on your end. And when you're considering these, realize that you don't have to commit 100% to one of them, but I do want you to consider all of them in general. So let's go into the live stream formats that you can utilize. Check out these 4 options of how you can leverage streaming technology. Number 1 is live on air, exactly as we are right now. We are literally live. When you comment here, I can see Jackie's flames. Well, not on the Restream chat, but on here, you can see this is a live interactive experience. So this is what most people are familiar with in a live stream context, is literally being live on air. The alternative pieces you want to consider are very powerful. Do not sleep on these other features just because they aren't officially super live. So consider number 2, pre-recorded content. You can actually have an entire episode pre-recorded, ready to rock and roll, and then air it as if it were live. And in some contexts, this is super powerful, especially when it comes to scheduling or logistics, or if you landed like a brilliant guest, but they couldn't make the live date, but they can make a pre-recorded one, you wouldn't want to miss that opportunity entirely. So consider how you can integrate pre-recorded episodes into your productions. And that even opens up the door for batch recording as well. If you wanted to record an entire season of a show ahead of time, now you can focus heavily on the promotion and bringing that to life. So consider pre-recorded content. Now, number 3, the hybrid experience. This is combining live content, a live experience, with pre-recorded content. And this is a super powerful way to integrate the live stream medium, this engagement. Like I can see Ligia just jumped in here. Welcome to the party. Good to see you here. We can keep that live element, but if I wanted to, I could play pre-recorded clips. I could play little insights and episodes of other stuff so that it's not 100% just me, the star of the show. Let's talk. I got to hold all this attention. You can use a hybrid experience that will actually combine both of those. And actually, if somebody wants to tag Garen Boulaney over on LinkedIn, he does a brilliant job of this, of a hybrid show where he is live, but he's also reviewing or playing other live streamers' content. So it's this kind of like stream within a stream type of action. So think of how you can use that creatively for a hybrid experience, live and recorded in the same stream. Now, number 4, another super powerful one that many people are sleeping on or haven't even considered is syndicating content directly to your stream or your channel or your page. The same exact way television media, network television channels work, we can do that with streams. Your channel could be a network running 24/7 if you really wanted to. But in order for that to work, you need to have a program or a schedule of syndicated content. So if you have buddies, or if you work at a company with a bunch of people that are all streaming and have their own shows and media, if you can share the rights or obtain the rights to that content, you can actually stream it and air it like syndicated content, very similar to a network television model. So this is super powerful. Again, do not sleep on any of these mediums. You don't have to literally be live. I know that's a lot of pressure for some people, but there's a lot of other options that you can use this same technology, the same everything, for you to come through with any type of experience. It doesn't have to literally be live. So thank you to everybody jumping in here. We're going to keep it rolling. Again, if you're curious about this, please do make a Restream account. Just try it. Sign up once. If you're on YouTube, the link's in the description. If you're on LinkedIn, it's in the description and the comments. But I want you to test any of these formats and try them. Try some pre-recorded content. Try some hybrid content. Anything besides the live, if that stressed you out, I promise is a new alternative. So Now we've talked about the formats that you can actually deliver a stream. Let's move into the second portion of this, which is segments. Segments of a show is what actually lands, the content that's actually being produced. Think of them as segments. And here's the overarching process that you should use. Use segments as creative building blocks. Simply use segments as creative building blocks. These are your Legos to build out the entire production, and it's your job to alter or shift or combine these blocks to create a new experience. You don't want just one thing happening literally the entire time. That's not going to be a enjoyable experience. So think of all of these segments that we're going to go into. Think of how you can mix and match, or try this segment with one of these, or try this segment in a different theme. So think of that hybrid mix and match kind of Lego style model as you go through here. And these are the actual segments that you can consider. And I'm sure there's actually probably more beyond this, but these are the most popular and the most powerful segments that I utilize and am aware of. So think of these again. You don't have to commit to one, but you can use them as building blocks to build a complete pro production and show. So the number one that we're most familiar with is the good old solo monologue. Solo monologue is exactly what it sounds like: a single individual on stream sharing their voice with the user. And this can work great as a literally just like a presentation type of thing, or as a conversational thing. One of the most successful categories in Twitch for streaming is just chatting. You literally can have a streaming career just chatting with your audience and interacting with them simply as a real-time conversation. And if that's appealing to you, that might be a really great segment to connect with your audience in a useful and creative way. So let's keep it rolling. Want to try and keep this presentation tight. Number two, a media presentation. So this is very similar to people that present keynotes or anything. I guess literally what you're looking at right now is the media presentation version. You can combine multimedia, whether it's videos or graphics, or in this case, the slides, with you as an interactive streamer. So combining those two gives you a whole bunch of new options. And then another one, number three, interviews and talk shows. This is a super popular segment that most of you are familiar with. And this is more of a one-on-one context of a host of some sort, and then a specific guest or subject or topic to tap into. Think of that as a single option within your palette to consider. Number four, ensembles. This is a group of people. Rather than having a one-on-one conversation, you can have a group of people. This is kind of like the old school radio show vibe, where they've got like 3 or 4 like hosts or co-hosts, and then a guest jumps in every once in a while. This ensemble experience of kind of like hanging out in the room, feeling like you're there as a fly on the wall, is super popular with streaming. You'll see it a lot with podcasters or more casual stuff. They'll have a whole ensemble, and this is really powerful when you just have good chemistry. If you have a group of people that have good chemistry and banter and energy together, consider how you can build out an ensemble or a panel of some sort that can capture that energy and capture that experience. So next, there's a lot of these, but I want you to consider all of them. Number 5, entertainment segments. This can be quite literally any type of entertainment or performance. Musicians, artists, poets, writers, any type of people that can entertain an audience in some type of way. That is a useful piece to add to your show, whether it's at the beginning or the end, or it's the main event. Maybe it's the main event is having some type of headliner artist that shows up on stream. So consider all these options as we're moving on to number 6, a game or competition. All of you are familiar with game shows. They do well for a reason. People are attracted to that concept of like, what's going to happen next? What is this experience going to be? What's the prize going to be? All of that stuff in a game show or competitive context is brilliant stream material. Brilliant stream material. It just keeps people glued, wondering what's going to happen next, who's going to win. So think of how you can either duplicate a game show and make it more of a streamer-friendly thing, or if you can, the better thing to do is actually build out your own original show. So if you have a concept of some sort that you could bring to life, that will garner a lot of attention in this world. If you can build your own game show or competition that people come to. So that is a super critical piece to consider. And then the last one, simply audience interaction. A lot of people neglect the audience here. So I got to say thank you to Majida jumping in here, Jackie and Teresa, the OGs. As always, I see you. And anybody on YouTube or Facebook, jump in the comments. Let me know you're hanging with us today. Would love to see who's in the mix. But audience interaction can literally be a show segment in itself. Very often like a Q&A type of thing works as a very default simple option. But you can even get more advanced with stuff like I've done a control like, you know, those choose your own adventure books. I made a live stream that was exactly like that, where the audience that was jumping in here, like exactly like Reg is, as well as Robin. I had an entire stream that everything we did, from the light color to the music to the activities, was controlled by the audience. It was super crazy, super fun. But think of all the creative ways that you can utilize audience interaction, from as simple as Q&As to much more advanced stuff like you can create commands and controls in the chat that people can control the show. And it's just super special. It really puts your show in another category that makes people feel like it was an experience that they are a part of. So please do keep all of these in mind. And remember, it's about using these as building blocks. You don't have to commit to one. And that's what we're going to talk about here into the last section of the show, where we're talking about how to combine formats with segments to build creative templates that can make your life a lot easier as a producer. So the high level theory is essentially to build a production using the ideal format for what you need to do, and then the ideal segments that are most relevant for that. And once you have those two figured out, it's your job as a producer to templatize your show. You want to somehow give it those, like if y'all have been bowling, you want those bumper lanes. You want the bumper lanes that can keep you on track. You still want full control to be able to navigate within that lane. But what a clean template or run of show does is it at least sets those bumper lanes for you to stay within throughout the show. And then the challenging part of this is right here at the end, a repeatable formula without getting boring. A repeatable formula without getting boring is the hardest part of this. As a producer, you want to rinse and repeat and keep things in a rhythm and consistent and in a flow. But as a user or as a viewer, you usually want the opposite of that. You want something exciting, you want something new, you want something fresh. So your challenge as a producer is, how can you templatize your show without it getting boring. And there's a ton of creative ways that you can do that. Surprise guests, interactive activities that pop up. Who knows where it'll go if you start interacting with the people in the chat here, like Gabe. Good to see you. Welcome to the party. So that's what I want you to think of between these formats, is how you can build your own little show formula that can be rinse and repeat, but there's room to keep it fresh and flexible. So let's tap into my favorite templates that you can literally just steal. You can steal these. I would love for you to. They've been stolen and remolded hundreds of times over the years, but they work for a reason. So number one template that you can steal is the talk show template. This is exactly as it sounds. You are probably very familiar with these because there are dozens of shows that utilize this format, and it's a super simple setup. They open with a host that has a monologue, part one. They go to commercial break, of course, cash in, and then they have a primary guest. This is their headliner guest, whoever that comes through. Usually they have one or two celebrity, like musician type of guests that come through for the main segment. They have an interview, little talk show interaction, and then they go to a commercial break once more. And then when they come back, they have the pitch. They have some type of media presentation, whether it's a clip or an activity or a game or a challenge or something, some type of alternative media that's integrated into it. One more commercial break. And then you know what they always end it with. They've got the entertainment. They have a musician or an artist or a performer of some sort that they attach to the end. So that talk show format here is something you could duplicate in your own context of have your solo monologue as you open up the show, jump into your primary guest, primary presentation, and then cap it off with some type of fun entertainment, engagement, a game. You can steal that exact template, and I promise you, you'll have a pretty solid show your first run. So tons and tons of different options you can take this, but I'm going to go through these three options because they're my favorite and what I use the most. So number two, the ritual experience. How can you turn your stream or your production into some type of recurring ritual experience? Now, the most obvious version of this is people that do like religious and spiritual, like streaming every day. They have, or every week they have their sermon, etc. That's the very obvious version of that. But you can create an entertainment version of that that glues people to your community, to your network, and everything else that's attached to you. And the goal here is to create some type of experience that people have emotional positivity attached to it. There's a reason to come back. They connected with people in the comments. So for me, this is my Feel Good Friday stream. We have a Feel Good Friday ritual of music and networking and good vibes. And we have people that are there literally every week, and they feel bad when they miss it. And that's a brilliant signal as a producer, is if you can create some type of community experience that people are glued to. Now, number three, the last template here you can steal is the transformation. Using your production as a transformation medium for people to learn, to grow, to heal. This is super popular in like the podcast realm, like Lewis Howes type of people, School of Greatness, like shows like that are 100% focused on listen to this production, absorb the show, the experience, and you will transform into becoming something better, becoming something bigger. Those are the type of ideas that really attract people to a recurring viewer, a recurring listener, is when they have that experience and they want it over and over and over again. So please consider all of those. That's pretty much what we're trying to do here with this show, is how can you transform to be a better producer from anywhere in the world. Literally, you can run these shows from anywhere in the world as long as you have a decent computer and good internet. I heavily encourage you to please connect and try Restream. I just dropped the link once more in the comments over on LinkedIn. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, jump in there and at least just make an account. Just make an account and get started on the journey, because you can test all of these in a super creative way, and I bet you one of them will stick. So let's recap real quick what we chatted about and how you can plug this into your life or business. Number one, we talked about streaming formats. And when we went into these formats, it basically gave you the options of actual live on-air recordings, pre-recorded content, hybrid content, which is live and pre-recorded, and then the big boy, completely syndicated content. If you can own the rights entirely to a program or to several programs, you can actually syndicate those the same way that network television does, but you can do it on your channel or your company page. Super, super powerful way to leverage all of the streaming formats that exist, and you can do all of those with Restream. So keep that in mind. Then we went into show segments, very specific show ideas that you can use as building blocks. And those segments that we tapped into are right here. I'm going to bring them up real quick while we're wrapping up this one. Solo monologues, media presentations, interviews, talk show type of things, ensembles, which is a group or panel of people, entertainment, performances, game shows, competitions, that's a fun one. And then lastly, audience interaction. How can the audience control the stream and control the experience? And now it's your job to use those blocks, use those building blocks to build your own show. Maybe you open up with an entertainment segment, and then you go to a primary interview, and then the last piece is audience Q&A. Boom, right there, you got a clean, professional show with 3 segments, bada boom, bada bing, bada bang, and you can literally run with that over and over and over, swap out the entertainment, swap out the main guest, and then who knows where the Q&A goes every time. It's going to be different and random. So please consider all of the above if you would like to build a stream of your own. And then lastly, as always, gotta plug them one more time. Thank you to Restream for not only supporting my journey in discovering and learning all this technology, but everything that we went over today is possible in Restream. Just Restream Studio, the browser-based studio. So I heavily encourage you to please just test the waters and give it a shot. So we have officially ended the presentation of the show, but I do want to open it up. If anybody has a specific question, I see Wayne, Enrique, Jackie, Gabe, everybody. Majita's still rocking and rolling. Thank you guys so much. If anybody has a question, drop it in the chat here. I would love to hear who is in the mix with us. But right now, we made it through another show, folks. We technically made it through another show. We'll let this after party Q&A fizzle out here in a little, but would love to open the door for anybody that didn't get a chance to get a question in, or if you did get a question in and I missed it, please do video radio. Now this is what I'm talking about. Okay, can you talk about a video radio show? Tony, this is super interesting. So I'm curious, is this something that would be similar to what a live stream network is going to be like? I anticipate the people that are building out a network that's on air 24/7 are going to start using more like casual radio shows, but that have a video element to it. So that's where I anticipate it might be going. The trouble is a lot of shows and a lot of people are hesitant of being like actually live, just because of the potential risk, potential liability there. So that's where a lot of stuff ends up going. They pre-record it and then they air it live. But I would love to see more and more actual, like, on the air 24/7. People can call in, jump on the show. That would be pretty brilliant. So if you have any other insights or suggestions where you think that's heading, Tony, would love to hear from you. So super interesting. Q from Gabe. What is your favorite type of presentation? Interesting. So for me personally, if you're meaning like what I stream with, I have been digging this little setup, what I've been doing here, where one portion is the audio visual element here as a human, and then the other portion, well, that side, is actually on that more text, or if there's any graphic based stuff. I feel like if I have both of those, it's the most accommodating to all types of learners. So that's just my general preference, to kind of have a little bit of context, I guess, in there for any type of learner. They can look at the text, they can look at the video, they can look at the audio. So that's my general preference, Gabe, but would love to hear anybody else's. What is your favorite presentation or layout or style to learn from? Because I know everybody's got different learning styles. So we are in the Q&A section. I see new people hopping in here. If you'd like to sneak in a question, and Ligia, brilliant question here. How hard was the first time you made videos? So difficult because I am a perfectionist and an overthinker, neither of which are good for recorded video production. So the biggest change for me was discovering live streaming. I sucked in traditional video production, where you had to write the video, script everything out, record everything. I turn on all the lights up here. My dogs are like in the room, like staring up at me like, what the hell is this guy doing? And I was awful. In that recorded video context. Not only was like the presentation very scripted, robotic, when I got to the editing process, it was even worse, because I was like, I want to edit this out. Let's change this. Oh, this sucked. So the biggest change for me was jumping into live streaming like we are right now. I can't retake this. If I was doing this as an old school video, I could have wrote the question, wrote the answer, wrote this, but it just brings out a different version of me that I didn't enjoy. So the biggest difference for me was making that transition to live video, where it's still daunting. It's still, there's still that like perfectionist element, but it's one take, baby. One take and you're out and you're done, and it's done. And sometimes it's great, sometimes it's awful, but that was the biggest difference for me, was getting used to pressing this little red go live button here in Restream. And as soon as that kicks in, I have this game day mentality. I used to grow up playing hockey, so that's what I relate it to, is stream day is like game day, and it's by far the best way to create all of those micro content videos without having to go through that intense scripting and filming and editing and that whole process, because it's one and done, and we can do little edits literally in real time. Like that would take so long in Premiere to add a new screen and just have it move over to the left, but we could just do it a dozen times here and move stuff here and left and right, all here in Restream Studio. So that's what I would suggest, is maybe stepping away from the recorded content and tapping into the live stream video that can then be used as video and recorded content. So brilliant question. I am getting pretty long-winded here. My apologies. Couple more questions coming through. One from Wayne. Travis, are you looking into doing anything in the metaverse? 100%. I think this is the direction a lot of things are heading. Virtual events are kind of the first step into that experience. So that's what I'm seeing right now is virtual events are going to start increasing. And then now those virtual events are going to start becoming a little more real into like the metaverse type of world. So 100%, I'm looking at it from the entertainment and digital experience angle. I love music, love DJs and artists and singers. So that's what I'm most excited to see is how we can connect with brilliant artists and talented people around the world without needing to travel across the world to go see them. So I do have my eyes on it, Wayne. Brilliant question. All right, I am checking the comments once more, and then we're gonna sneak out of here. We are well past the 30-minute mark, but what do you think the best way to getting started is? Jason, I promise you it's super simple. I've dropped the link a couple times, but the number one thing, the catalyst that switched it for me was discovering Restream Studio. So Jason, if you just want to create your account on Restream, just make the account. You'll see in the studio how simple it is to run these like super pro looking shows all from your browser. Don't need a fancy computer. You can literally learn this technology in probably like a weekend, not even that. A couple hours in like a half hour of clicking, you'll be able to do 80% of it. So that was the biggest piece for me, was discovering the software. So once you see how easy that is, it becomes easier to work backwards on all the other stuff. So all the gear related stuff, all of this, like, technically is an afterthought. If you can get your voice on air and people can hear you and see you decently, you're in a good starting spot. And then over time, one little piece at a time, you can upgrade things in a creative way, whether it's the lighting or the mic. I'm still using my microphone from high school. I bought it with like high school summer job money over 10 years ago. So you don't need all the fanciest, newest gear, all that stuff. Just start. I promise you, all of the hurdles you have in your head, Jason, are psychological and not going to be nearly as bad as you think once you actually dive in. So as exactly as Sebastian said here, just start. And all the mistakes can go to B-rail content. This is the winning strategy, folks. I actually have exactly this. Some of our brilliant people here, we've got all kinds of errors and mistakes that I've made over the year and a half of streaming. So it works great, exactly as Sebastian says. Even when things go wrong, there's still value in it. Not only the learning experience, there's viewers that tell me, they literally tell me they love watching a train wreck. Like when stuff goes wrong and this is going awful and bad and everything's failing, there's still people out there that actually like that and enjoy it. So all those things that we think about in our head are really just amplified towards the negative side. So jump in. I promise you. There we go. Chris is one of them. Train wrecks are the best. There's several folks that are all in that. So we got to wrap this up. I'm sneaking out of here. Oh, one more. All right, one more, then we're actually wrapping up. Do you offer a class or a way to get into Restream? So the first thing you can do is just at least make the account there on the link, and you can self-explore. I personally have a boot camp that you can go through for like 5 or 6 weeks, build your own show, get you launched and ready to go. You basically can just take all my production templates and systems and whatever you need and roll with it. That is a paid boot camp. Or if you'd like the free version here on the Restream channel or the Restream YouTube, there is a show called Livestream Legends. This was my show earlier in the year that is 100% about solo streaming, getting started as a solo streamer and upgrading into a live stream legend. What a shocker. So that would be my recommendation, depending on if you're looking for something paid. I can hook you up with an individual boot camp, or if you're looking for a free setup, that Livestream Legends option is going to be a great setup if you want to be the streamer. And then if you want to be the producer running the shows, you're here literally in that show, in that program. We've been going over a curriculum week to week. So both of those playlists are available on the Restream YouTube channel. So that is officially the end of the line here. I am going to be checking out. Thank you guys so much for jumping in here. Everybody on YouTube, thank you so much. I see you rocking and rolling over there. Jason, thank you for your questions. Majida, Chris, Jasmine, Jackie. Oh man, amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you everybody. Sebastian as well. All of you guys, thank you for joining this. I hope you enjoy all of this. I hope you build some awesome shows. Please link anything you're doing, anything you're sharing. I want to see it. I want to support it. I want to know what you guys are up to. So please, let's keep this journey going as we become super producers week after week. Thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you next week on the Remote Producer Show.